今の近代的なやつを使うか。
Hi, I'm Kazu, a renovation carpenter in Japan. This is the open ceiling space above the entryway. An open ceiling makes the space bright and airy. That said, it comes with its drawbacks. Cleaning the windows and light fixtures is tricky. Heating and cooling efficiency drops. And you lose usable floor area, which can feel like wasted space. So this time, we're going to install a floor in this open ceiling area. First, we'll remove the knee wall around the second floor opening. Today, veteran carpenter Shimizu-san is here to help. He's also my mentor. We start by cutting the gypsum board with a multi-tool, keeping a little away from the wall edge. The cap rail gets sliced right through with a circular saw. This is a 37-year-old, two-story post and beam wooden house. The studs and posts have horizontal furring strips, with gypsum board fastened on top. Back then, gypsum board was fixed with nails or a stapler, so it comes off pretty easily. A very demolition-friendly structure. By the way, there's a reason I asked Shimizu-san to come today. My knee's in bad shape right now. Working with a time bomb in my knee is going to be tough. So I'll leave as much heavy lifting as I can to Shimizu-san. After removing part of the upstairs hallway floor, we could see most of the framing inside. On the open ceiling side, removing the board would make it fall dangerously, so we'll cut it out along with the framing. The reciprocating saw slices cleanly through the wall. We cut it in half to make it easier to carry. With this structure, we should be able to build a floor with enough strength. Carpenters tend to skip details when talking to each other, so even Japanese folks might not follow what we're saying. Since I'm not in great shape today, Yo-chan will handle hauling out the debris. Filming while running between the truck and the second floor must have been tough. We also disposed of some furniture and desks the homeowner asked us to remove. If I post this, Japanese viewers will probably comment, "Use scaffolding." We're working off an 8-shaku stepladder here. For this scale of work, temporary scaffolding isn't really practical. We'll use the second floor hallway floor as our height reference and frame the new floor along the original structure.
こっちの FL とこっちの FL が違うから、ここはジョイント大事やんか。でこっちは斜めに作って、あとはこのまま。1ミリぐらいね、別にいいんだけど。
We'll match the existing floor at the joint and keep the rest level. This mark will be the finished floor height. I'll set an older blade for cutting board onto the circular saw.
24足す45足す180にクリアを5分ぐらい見てこうかな。
In Japan, we used to work in the shakusun system, but now millimeters are the standard.
足すクリア10。
260や。260。260。
Those of us in our 40s to 60s grew up using the shakusan system, so on site we mix the two, and our brains get tangled in units.
横流しになってるでしょ。
じゃあ天井この辺でもええか。
下げる。180の上にそのまんま30足して、
圧迫感だけで。
天井の30もかわすかかわさんかはどっちでもいい。
シビアに考えやんでもかけた張りだけしやろなとかなる。どうせそういう天井上げてこなあかんちゅうことないんやね。
10多めに着ようかな思ってるけど。見てみなわからんからね。
Using the dust collecting circular saw, we cut and peel back the existing sheathing board. A dust collecting circular saw has become standard equipment on both renovation and new build sites. These days, it's usually hooked up to a dust extractor when cutting plywood, wallboard or exterior siding. In this shot, the saw is moving toward me, but actually the dangerous spot is where Shimizu-san's standing, since kickback comes toward the operator. Now we decide which way to run the floor joists.
どっち入れる？こう入れるか、こう横入れるか。
ボスもない。
これが180ね。
180だよね。本当はこっちの方がね、もう材料大きいでこっちの方がいいけどね。
逆なの。
まあネタに合わせるからこうして買っとくか。
こうしよる。こう入れる。
In the inside corners where the circular saw can't reach, we switched to a multi-tool. Before multi-tools, we had to make these cuts little by little with a handsaw. With the knee wall removed, we straighten and prep the existing framing. By the way, only the walls of the former open ceiling area on the second floor will get new wallpaper. For the outside corners, we cut the existing board clean and let the wallpaper crew make a neat seam. We've finished removing the knee wall and the necessary sections of sheathing. So far, everything's going according to plan.
Right, こんな感じでですね、なんとかこう上手にめくれました。ここから躯体に補強を入れて床を作っていきます。
The existing beam is 120 millimeters, about 150 nominal, and we'll be placing a 180 beam on top. That means the new beam will rest on a 60 millimeter shoulder, half the width of the existing beam.
今の近代的なやつを使うか。
近代的なやつ。
Sure, using modern connector plates would be quick, but that's not as satisfying for a carpenter. Pride kicks in, so we'll notch the beam and reinforce it the proper way. Since we don't want the homeowner falling through, today's goal is to get the subfloor installed. We could make it easier by changing the joist direction. But we don't want to load the beam above the entry door. It'd be better if this were a post instead of just a stud. These days, a multi-tool is indispensable. But sometimes, its convenience feels a little sad, like it takes away the craft feeling.
1.5 足す24足す45。200.5が上はね。
200.5?
We chisel a 15mm deep mortise into the existing beam to seat the new one.
5分だけほっとくわ。
2台寸5か。
2台寸5分の数。
銀5の4分の4分でなんや、1寸9か。違うやん。で、銀5の4分の4分って言ったら2寸3分。
Mental math isn't Shimizu-san's strong point. These days, most beams are pre-cut by machine, so there's rarely a need for mental calculations or even handwriting on site. On this side too, we notch 15mm and slide the beam into place. Since we didn't know what was inside the wall until we opened it, I brought 6 Sun Douglas fir just in case. We mark and cut the beam joinery. This time it's a pretty simple one. Makita's 40-volt max 165mm cordless saw paired with their shark tooth blade looks like an unbeatable combo. But the cut wasn't as clean as I expected. The result depends on the saw's setup, blade condition, battery charge, and even the wood itself. When a cut doesn't go well, I usually just blame the saw. But this particular 40-volt, 165mm saw, ever since I bought it, it's always felt awkward to use. That said, I've gotten too used to cordless tools to want to drag out a corded one. At this point, almost all my tools are battery powered. Even if they're a bit inconvenient, I keep using them because they're, well, convenient. A vicious cycle. I switched to a brand new blade. This one runs smoothly with almost no wobble, and it's nice and quiet. But it's meant for fine trim work, not for notching posts or cutting structural members. Remodeling carpenters don't use the same intricate joinery as temple carpenters. What we need is speed and clean work on site. I cut the beam just a hair long so the shoulders fit tight without any gaps. Since I'm short, I use beam offcuts as makeshift stepping stools. The circular saw didn't give me a perfect 90 degrees, so I paired the excess with a chisel to square it up. For the floor joist ledges, I'm using 4 Sun Hinoki, about 120 millimeters. Huh? Turns out Shimizu's 18-volt saw cuts better than mine. Anyway, let's install the joist ledges. The difference between 3.5 Sun and 4 Sun is only 15 millimeters, but the strength feels totally different. That's what they told me at the lumberyard, and somehow I ended up buying a whole truckload at their trade fair. I have no idea when I'll finally use it all up. Watching the footage later, I realized I forgot the strap tie bolt here. Just fixed it with a Kasugai nail plate. I notched out the spot where the existing bolt and washer were hitting. Since I can't install this alone today, Shimizu-san is helping me out. He's been giving perfect support. We're setting the top of the joist ledger 200.5 millimeters down from the laser line. But for some reason, we just can't agree on the level.
200.5 やろ 5ミリ 200.5 やろ今ぐらいちゃうねんな
200.5?
うんあれ差じゃねえ
0.
ええんちゃうねんそれ
あ、ごめん、俺じゃあそれあかんかもな。
1センチやろ20センチ5ミリやろちゃうの
0.5 ミリのことや、俺。
5ミリやろ
200.5?
200と5だったら205やろ、そもそもが。 外さないかもしれない。ごめん。この子も。
なんで
なんで上に上がらないの？
あ、じゃあ上げるんだけど。
上がる？
じゃあ上げるんだけど、下げるはもう下がらんで。
My half-millimeter obsession completely threw Shimizu off.
あ、201でもいいし、200でもいいし。
そういう意味で。
ごめん。
じゃあ20センチ5ミリやで。違うね。
200.5。
205
200ミリ。
まあ20センチが大体。
And now, he switched to talking in centimeters, making it even more confusing.
さあ、折り分上がる？上にこう。
何？
どっちでも上がるとね。
上上がる？なんで？あら。
仕事しよう。普段、隅やら右やら言ってるかばっかりなくなってきたよね。あ、また上がった上がった。
おい。
これ、
そうっすよ。
これもう墨したらいいよ。小さな回して。
We had a little mix-up, but got the joist ledger in place in the end. Next up, an important step. Once the beam's in, we're basically done. Except the existing furring strips are in the way, so it won't fit. Starting over.
端っこ持っていいよ。硬いぞ。はい。ちょっとね。超待ってくれ。逆ちゃう。ごめん。あ、逆やわ。
はい。
こっちお前か？
まあ、いつの逆になったな。
え？
ごめん、逆やわ。
これちゃう？
The beam spun a full turn while I was up on the stepladder. Like a circus act. Pretty much Japan's own greatest showman moment.
それで持っててくれて、いけ上がるの？
いける？
わからん。
いけるなら、ごめん。ごめん。
あ
えらいよ。ちょっと。
ちょっとよ。
どっちいったらいかへん？なんないか。いや、かけやなら行く。
かけやないの。大幅はある。
Since it was too tight, I tapped the corner in at a slight angle.
それ、しぐさんの方？
それ大浜かも。
うん、変わる？これで。
中華そんなに。
よっちゃんがさ、俺かけやいるっつって俺がいらっちゃったんだ。
Too late now to say, actually, could you bring it?
めっちゃいいやん。
はい。
もうちょい？
もうちょい。
俺決めるわ。一応金物はあるけど、横で1個つけとく関係ないか。
Since it's just sitting there, I'll pull it tight with hardware for reinforcement.
順調です。
僕以外順調ですよ。
膝の具合は？
いや、もう間がえらい。
曲げられないんだ。
曲げられないから、もうずっとちょっともう料理偉いから、今日清水さんいないとちょっと厳しいね。
The structural framing is done. Next, we'll install the floor joists. Since the joists are warped, I'm setting them straight, but with a touch of sag. Finally, the floor framing is done. Once we lay the plywood, it'll be rock solid. On top of my bad leg, I've put on a little weight lately. Feels heavy. Sorry if this looks a bit ungraceful, folks. Meanwhile, Shimizu's hauling plywood up to the second floor. Spilled screws everywhere. Nothing's going my way. Next up, ceiling framing. I want to take home everything we won't need tomorrow. To tidy up the site, I'm using up all the longer lumber. I wanted to attach the ceiling framing directly under the beam, but the ceiling above the entry tile is too high. So for appearance's sake, I decided to drop the ceiling a bit. The horizontal blocking on the wall isn't level, and some spots won't take nails. So I'll hang the ceiling framing from the second floor joists.
こっち送ってない。それノート送ってない。そこ。オッケー。オッケー。来た。
In the entryway's open space, we somehow managed to build the floor in just one day. Next time, flooring installation, window sill replacement, cover method, ceiling board, and new wallpaper. Then we're done.
カズさん、音タの方を切ってって。
あ、ごめん。
Please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.